Savannah, Georgia is known as the most haunted city in America. Is it true, or is it a well-thought-out marketing campaign to attract lovers of the paranormal? Well, if it's true, then I say, let the devil take me on a tour. I went there without a clue where to go or what to do. But that's the story of my life. There was one big problem. The weather was terrible, and I only had 4 days to explore the city. At the very least, I wanted to see a ghost, and the spot where Forrest Gump ate his box of chocolates. If I could go back home without a soiled underpant, I'd have done my job. Sometimes I like to pretend I'm in the pre-internet age where no AI or sponsored websites told me what to do. These pamphlets were my best guides and relied on the Google Maps of the 20th century to help me make real-life decisions. After having my coffee and a delicious ham and cheese croissant, I set out to walk around the historic district. It may seem that Savannah is dead during the daylight, but no. On the weekend, this area comes alive with more people bustling the streets and more shops open for business. In case you know nothing about Savannah, this is the city of many firsts. Among them, it was the first American city planned as a grid of intersecting streets with lots of public squares. And I noticed this from the get-go. This is Franklin Square, and it has quite the sinister history dating back to the year 1820. A fire was started somewhere nearby in a horse stable late at night. The flames spread across the city, burning down over 500 buildings and leaving 2/3 of its population homeless. Also, in that same year, an epidemic of yellow fever killed 666 people, allegedly, and locals believed that the spirits of the dead roamed the city to stalk the living. The victims were buried in the Colonial Cemetery, which we will navigate later. But right now, let's make a quick stop at City Market. This used to be the place where locals would buy their groceries a long time ago, like the Krogers of the years past. Today is not that different, except there are more options, such as candy stores, wine stores, art galleries, tour rides, and a Ford Model A with a drunk-looking mannequin inside to promote the Prohibition Museum. However, the most captivating retail store, at least for me, was Savannah's Candy Kitchen. The moment you walk in, you are pounded by a scent of chocolate and sugar that instantly makes you pre-diabetic. I've been to candy stores before, but nothing like this. The attention to detail, the ample space, the separate rooms that sell a different category of products. Seriously, this business would give Willy Wonka an existential crisis. They even have a variety of juices and sodas with odd names. The Bin Laden one tastes like regular Coke, only a bit lighter. I'll admit, I treated myself to a few choices, and they were good. Maybe I overdid it, but I wanted to taste the Savannah palate. No wonder this region of the US has a major obesity problem. I don't need to elaborate more. Speaking of which, City Market has a cookie store near the chocolate warehouse. Why the hell am I not surprised? I had a quick look inside, and my blood sugar spiked just by inhaling. But it is a very nice shop. After walking around a bit, passing by some well-preserved architecture that dates back to the 18th century, I stumbled upon the very first public square, built in 1733, Johnson Square. Most of Savannah is festooned with these moss-draped trees, known as the Southern live oaks, from the species Quercus virginiana. That's a mouthful. They're endemic in the southeast of the United States. You will notice that each square bears a monument to a particular hero or event, demonstrating that Savannah cares about its history. And speaking of squares, I'm sure there's one you will not miss if you ever get the chance to visit. Oh, there he goes! Run, Forrest! Run! I'm such an idiot. I mean, what are the odds that some random guy runs past me, precisely where Forrest Gump sat on a bench and told his life story to strangers while holding a box of chocolates? The bench and the platform are no longer there, but the square blooms with beautiful vegetation and a blissful sense of peace, along with complimentary street music. I'm sure he was the Charlie Parker of flutes in his days. If you're a history nut like myself, Savannah has just the place where you can learn about how this corner of North America went from being a tribal community to the city that it is today, in Savannah's History Museum. The amount of relics, ornaments, memorabilia, and displays detailing the timeline of events is impressive. Since I refused to look up Savannah on Wikipedia, it was right here where I learned that the city was originally a big farmland and exporter of rice due to the rich marshlands along the river shore. Also, Savannah's proximity to the Atlantic Ocean and its waterways turned it into a major seaport, a legacy that continues today. You will see lots of railroads across the city and ships flowing in and out of the river. Cotton and skin animal were other commodities brought by train from distant farms for export. The museum even has an exhibit of how a dental office looked like in the early 1900s. Looks more like a lobotomy surgical room if you ask me. Wait, what is that? Huh? I don't want to know. However, my favorite exhibit was the very bench used in the movie Forrest Gump, including the character's briefcase. This was a shock for me, because I didn't know that Paramount Pictures had donated the fiberglass-made bench they made specifically for the movie. I got a bit emotional when I saw this. After getting well acquainted with Savannah's history, it started raining a bit, and my weather app warned of incoming copious showers. A long time ago, I read that rain and humidity enhances the possibilities of seeing spiritual manifestations because of the many particles ionizing in the air. I'm sure it's BS, but I wanted to see a ghost. Did you hear that? I thought, oh my god, I'm already hearing spectral voices. But no, it was just some guy on the street yelling at his wife nearby. Anyway, I made my way into the infamous Colonial Park Cemetery. Inaugurated in 1750, it was originally the burial ground for faithfuls of the Church of England, but a few decades later, all denominations were welcomed. Yay, diversity! Notable figures of years past, like artists, members of the Confederate Congress, war heroes, are buried here, including the near 700 victims of the yellow fever from 1820, like I mentioned. I wonder if knocking on one of these headstones, a corpse will pop out and... Oh my god, did you see that? Look! Some fruit fell off that tree. Are you kidding me? Now that could not have been the work of gravity. Nope, that was definitely a ghost. This is probably the creepiest section. At first I thought this was a mausoleum, but I was wrong. These headstones were originally laid in the ground before they were moved here for preservation. No ghosts or dead people yet. Let's see if we have better luck elsewhere. tiny drops were landing on my neck and shoulders, and I figured, I guess the dead doesn't like that I'm mocking them, and they are ruining my trip with rain. I was pissed. My biggest fear was that I wouldn't have enough material to edit back home, and I had 2 days left in Savannah. The only way I could make the rain go away is by going straight to the high power of the Almighty and confess all my sins in exchange for bright skylight. My destination, the Cathedral Basilica of St. John the Baptist. I honestly can't put into words how grand and beautiful this place is. Silence was strictly enforced to respect those who had come to do some praying. I roamed like a hawk, capturing as much as I could, while also inquiring for heavenly aid, doing some white magic to clear the bad weather. Now all that was missing was a few minutes of prayer. Dear Lord, please make the rain go away. I'm sorry for writing all those comments on YouTube using my fake account, and for putting on the same underwear 2 days in a row. Well, you know what I've done. Please forgive me, and I promise I'll bless my audience with footage about Savannah that will help them get to know this great city. Did God help clear the weather? You'll have to find out in the second part of this series. Make sure to subscribe and visit the links in the description to learn how you can support and fund my next video. I'm Don Luis Zavala. Thank you for your time.